What's up, guys? Welcome back to Toon Room. Today we're doing another Toon tier list. That's right. We're looking at all the characters of the SpongeBob universe. Maybe not all, but a good chunk of them. And we're power scaling them. That's right. If all of these characters were to throw down, if they were to meet and go at it, fighting to the finish on the streets of Bikini Bottom, who would be the last sea creature standing? If you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I really would appreciate it. And if you'd like, I do make original cartoons on the channel. You can find them in a playlist. If you check them out, I really would appreciate it. All right, so getting right into it, just going through the tiers. I did one of these for Shrek already, had a lot of fun with that. But our tiers are S tier, broken. That's kind of like just so unfair. That character has so many hacks, so many advantages, super cheap, just basically unstoppable is S tier. Then we have A tier is crazy strong, very, very strong, but not invincible. Then we got the middle of the pack tier, which is strong, respectable, but nothing too crazy. Then we got C tier is average, and D tier, which is pathetic. That's it. So we're going to be trying to average out the characters' strength, speed, I guess skill slash like battle tactics, and of course, their invulnerability is another huge factor, especially for certain characters. They might be not very physically strong, but they're basically invincible. So, kicking it off, we have Larry the Lobster. Now, what could I say about my man Larry? He's a lifeguard. He's a cool guy. He's definitely strong. I would say maybe even crazy strong. We haven't really seen Larry in a lot of fights, but thinking back to his early appearances in season 1, he casually lifts 2 anchors. And if you were to think of that, think of how big a lobster is. Think of how big the anchor of a boat is. He is definitely not as strong as Sandy, but out of the Bikini Bottomites, I'd say physically he's probably like one of the top strongest sea creatures in all of Bikini Bottom, not counting Sandy. So putting him in the A tier, crazy strong. Think Larry put up a good fight. Next, we have a basic jellyfish. This is your average jellyfish you could see hopping around, swimming around jellyfish fields, Bikini Bottom. I'd say average, not pathetic. You know, it's like a bee. They could sting you. It would hurt. A jellyfish could maybe beat like some weaker characters on this list, but you know, SpongeBob, Patrick, they could deal with the jellyfish. Now, in hordes, in a huge number, jellyfish can be a problem. We're talking about one-on-one, a single jellyfish. I'd say average. Next up, we got Mr. Krabs. Now, assuming you don't mess with the cash register, if you don't mess with his money, then he would probably go in S tier because he would go into some rage mode. Not counting that, I'd say Krabs is strong. He's not as strong as Larry. If Krabs and Larry were to throw down, I think Krabs would get thrashed. Again, assuming he's not messing with the money, if they just meet on the street, I would say Larry the Lobster would beat Mr. Krabs. He's got the claws. He's kind of tough in terms of his shell and stuff, but yeah, Krabs, he's a little out of shape, not the strongest, but yeah, I would say strong. Okay, next we got Man Ray. Man, what do I do with Man Ray? I would say I'm going between crazy strong and broken. At one point, we see him remove his head, and he's still kicking. Can you even really defeat Man Ray by physical means? I don't even know what he is. You take off his mask, and it's just like the headless horseman. I'm trying to think of times they've defeated him by conventional methods. I don't think they've ever like physically defeated Man Ray. Even with the Orb of Confusion, he got away from that. He kind of, I guess a tickle ray is like a weakness, but even then it didn't stop him. You know, Man Ray is like kind of, yeah, I'd say Man Ray's pretty broken. They froze him in the tartar sauce. That was just to keep him at bay. He couldn't really be stopped. Dirty Bubble. Okay, now he has a very clear and easy, unlike Man Ray, exploitable weakness. You could pop him. SpongeBob accidentally tries to get his autograph and defeats him with a pencil. So I want to say pathetic. I mean, he could trap you in the bubble, but he has too easy of a weakness to exploit. So I'd say average. I would say, how would he do against a jellyfish? I don't really know. Maybe one step above a jellyfish in average for Dirty Bubble. Okay, next up, we got Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy in their prime. So this is them when they're young. You know, they're mentally capable, they're physically capable, they're able to fight. I would put them right there behind Man Ray. They're able to go toe to toe with Man Ray. They're basically like Aquaman. You know, they got all the same powers. They talk to sea creatures, breathe underwater, super strength, all that good stuff. I'd say they're pretty broken. If all of Bikini Bottom were to fight, you had Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy in their prime, they would be in the top contenders, in my opinion. Okay, next up, you got Mermaid Man in the retirement years, to put it nicely. Um, Man, so he's still got some powers, but he doesn't really know how to use them. You know, he doesn't really know what he's doing. I hate to say, I might say pathetic for that one, just because I'm thinking of the episode where you had the Legion of Do-Gooder, or the Legion of, basically they all get powers like the Justice League, and when Barnacle Boy becomes Barnacle Man, and at the end they don't even touch Mermaid Man. He just falls over. Like gravity defeats him. So I love you, Mermaid Man. Great character. Mermaid Man, oh, how the mighty has fallen. He starts off in the broken tier and then slowly becomes in the pathetic tier. So next up we have King Neptune. Now, this is not the one from the movie where he's older and more overweight and balding. This is like prime King Neptune. And yes, I'm using the picture of him cuddling a teddy bear. I couldn't find a good picture to fit of him, you know, wielding the trident and looking cool. He's king of the ocean. I gotta bump him up to broken and the top of the pack of broken and S tier. I mean, he turned SpongeBob into a god with a flip of his wrist. He could shoot lightning. Obviously, he's pretty jacked. He's huge. He could change size. He could teleport. He's basically the god in the SpongeBob universe. Neptune being the king of the ocean, Neptune slash Poseidon, whatever they call him. Yeah, Neptune is leading the pack in the broken tier in terms of his abilities. Next up, we got Sandy Cheeks. Sandy Cheeks is going to be the first mainstay Bikini Bottom character that is in the broken tier. Now, hear me out on this one, guys. I don't think too many people will dispute it. She casually grabs an anchor and pulls down a whole ship. She rips a guy's tattoo off, his skin off, flips it around, and puts it back on. Need I mention what she did to Patrick, both in hibernation, rage mode, and when he was speaking ill about Texas? Lassoed the man and made him explode. Ran through a rock and it exploded. Sandy is broken. She even might be able to. You don't really see Sandy interact with Mermaid Man, Barnacle Boy, or their enemies often. I mean, here's the question: could Sandy take a prime Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy with all their powers? I don't really know. I mean, I think she might. Now, here's a weakness of Sandy they don't really talk about much. If she's in a fight and you crack her helmet, she's done. She's pretty much finished because she's a mammal and she can't breathe underwater. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to comfortably put Sandy at the bottom of the pack of the broken tier. She's insanely strong, but she does have the exploitable weakness that if you get her out of the suit, she's done. Whereas Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy can still breathe underwater, so they don't really have that weakness. Next up, we got Karen. This is kind of a weird one. I mean, when she starts off, she's just like a computer monitor attached to the wall. That one wouldn't really be, you know, much of a fight. But if she's like decked out with all the tricks and equipment, all the hacks, I would probably put her in the crazy strong category. If you're looking at Karen, if she's like in crazy AI like Brainiac, you know, like Hal from Space Odyssey, and she could just transfer her consciousness. If you defeat one Karen into other Karen drones or something, I'd say she's crazy strong. She is smart. And unlike Plankton, she's not without the hubris of Plankton. Plankton's kind of like his schemes will backfire on him like Wile E. Coyote for comedic effect. Karen actually is intelligent, and if it weren't for Plankton, she probably would be able to take over the world, kind of like they show in the new Plankton movie. I thought that was pretty fun. I thought that was pretty decent. Probably the best thing SpongeBob has put out in a while. Yeah, I'm putting Plankton in the crazy strong category. What do you guys think? I don't know. Larry, he's a big boy. He's tough, but he's not really dumb, but he's not super intelligent, Larry. So yeah, I think I'm comfortable with that. Next up, we got King Jellyfish. Oh, kissy face. There we go. I mean, what do I say with this guy? He's pretty broken. What do you guys think? Could Sandy beat the king jellyfish? He's absolutely huge. Shoots giant lightning bolts. I think Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy could beat him if they could communicate with sea life. You know, they could either physically take him or maybe they could communicate with him. Maybe Man Ray, I feel like, is still top tier because he's basically unstoppable. Yeah, I'd say the King Jellyfish is probably above Sandy. I don't know. That would be an interesting matchup. We just had like a whole slew of really tough characters in a row. Next up, we got Mom and Dad SquarePants. Now, Mom and Dad SquarePants, they're older, they're nice, they're sweet. You know, they don't really fight. You never even really see much of that, but they do have SpongeBob's uncanny ability to regenerate. As we've seen SpongeBob do multiple times, he can tank physical attacks and absorb them like some kind of spongy material. We'll get to that later. He can basically regenerate from nothing. You've seen him take his arms off and they'll immediately grow back. SpongeBob is absolutely cracked. He's broken. So I'd say his parents are probably pretty up there too. I would put them even above the King Jellyfish, above Sandy, because while they're not physically strong, they can come back and regenerate like a sponge does from pretty much anything. I do apologize. I guess I put Mermaid Man in there twice. You can ignore that one. Next up, Mama Crabs. Mama Crabs, I'm going to put her, I want to say right up next to Mr. Krabs. Maybe average. She is an old lady. I don't know. She seems pretty tough. I'd say I'll put Mama Crabs in strong. She's a tough old lady. She could put up a good fight. I'd say she's right up there with her son. He's probably got the same crab stubbornness. Maybe that's where he gets it from, his mother. Next up, we got Barnacle Boy. I'd probably put him right up there next to Mermaid Man. Again, peak Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, if you look at their abilities, are kind of broken. You know, whereas Pathetic would be where classic Mermaid Man, as we know him, is. Next up, everybody's favorite starfish, Patrick. I think Patrick takes the lead in the crazy strong category. Patrick, it doesn't really make sense, but when he goes into rage mode, I'd say Patrick could be maybe stronger than Larry. You've seen him in the Valentine's Day episode when he goes off. He could casually lift his house when he thought SpongeBob was a spider, huge rock. What else does Patrick do? He's just, honestly, Patrick's kind of nuts. Many more feats of just crazy strength without even meaning to. Yeah, Patrick is crazy strong. He's not invincible, but he's very durable as well. Putting Patrick in the crazy strong category. Now, next up, we have Pearl. Here's the thing with Pearl. Obviously, not much of a fighter, but we do need to remember she's literally a whale. So, I would say probably up there right behind Patrick. Larry's probably physically stronger, but you got to just think Pearl is a whale. If she wanted to, she could probably easily defeat all the characters under her just through pure mass alone, being a whale. Next up, we have Squidward. I love Squidward. I really do. He's not much of a fighter. He's not super strong. We see him get beat up a lot throughout the series. Doodle Bob, Rex Squidward, the Sea Bear, a lot of other characters just absolutely mollywop poor Squidward. He could probably take Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, but I would put him leading the pack of the pathetic tier. Again, just want to say I love Squidward. This is not how much I like the character. This is more of a, if everyone in Bikini Bottom were to throw down, who would be the last person standing? You know what? I take that back. Squidward could probably take a jellyfish. I'd say he's average. He's not totally weak like a baby, but he's average. He could take a jellyfish. Most other characters above him could most definitely beat him. Okay. Looks like we have Karen on there twice again. Just ignore those two. Next up, we got Gary the Snail. Gary, I would want to put him up there with Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Probably a little above Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. He is a snail. He doesn't have really crazy offense or anything like that. He has a pretty good defense given his shell. So I would put him above Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, but he's just chill. We don't really see Gary throwing down like that for the most part. So putting Gary leading the pack at D tier. Next up, we got Mrs. Puff. Now, this is an interesting one. Mrs. Puff is. She has a pretty good offensive maneuver. If you were to throw down with Mrs. Puff, she puffs up, she gets spiky, she bounces around like a giant volleyball. That's a pretty good survival tactic. I would say that probably puts her below Pearl, but above Larry. Because if you're really throwing hands with Mrs. Puff, she just puffs up, spikes you, bounces around. It would be tough to kind of defeat her in that regard. So putting Mrs. Puff right there in the middle of the crazy strong category. Next up, we have Dennis from the movie. I would say, I mean, what do you guys think of Dennis? He is probably above these guys. He's definitely crazy strong. There's no doubt about that. At the same time, he is just a really big, strong, tough fish. I put him in the top of the pack for the crazy strong category. He gets taken out with some bubble soap and then he hits the dock, so pretty easily to take him out. But yeah, I'm putting Dennis top of crazy strong category. I definitely think if they ever met, Sandy could take Dennis, and all the other characters up top could defeat Dennis. But that's where I'm landing on that. Next up, we got the Sponge himself, SpongeBob SquarePants. Now, I'm putting SpongeBob. I might. This might be a hot take. I'm putting SpongeBob so far of the characters we have second of them all after only King Neptune. Now, why do I do this? So, like I mentioned with his parents, SpongeBob can regenerate for basically anything. He is somewhat basically immune to physical damage. And add to that the fact that while he's pretty frail, we've seen him try and lift marshmallows and stuffed animals, but he does know karate. And he has on occasion gotten the better of Sandy, who is way better trained than him, better at karate and stronger. So King Neptune, if you really wanted, could probably obliterate SpongeBob from existence by like disintegrating every atom. But other than that, I mean, he's stronger than his parents. He knows karate. I'd say he could take every other character on this list. Now, obviously, when they do karate together, Sandy usually beats SpongeBob, but this is a fight to the finish. If it is the last sea creature standing, I really do think that SpongeBob would be right up there leading the top of the pack. He could kind of wear down Sandy like he did with Flats, who's also on the list. We'll be getting to him shortly. Next up, we got the giant clam. This is a clam SpongeBob was struggling. He was struggling with a bit when he first met Sandy. Yet Sandy kicked the clam all the way just out, just kicked it out all the way out of there. So while it is pretty big and pretty strong, I think I'd probably put it in the strong category, probably above Mr. Krabs, but I think most other creatures on here could take the giant clam. Next up, we have the sea bear. Well, we all know it's above Squidward. How much is for sure. Yeah, the sea bear is kind of a force to be reckoned with. That being said, it does have some easily exploitable weaknesses. If you were to have this giant battle royale with all the characters and you draw a giant circle, not an oval, but a circle in the sand, then you would pretty much be safe with the sea bear attack. I didn't put on the sea rhinoceros because I assume that all of you watching are wearing your anti-sea rhinoceros undergarments. So, yeah, I'm putting the sea bear probably leading the top of the pack in strong. I do think most of these other characters could probably take on defeat a sea bear, Larry the Lobster, Dennis, Patrick if he's enraged. But yeah, I think sea bear is leading the pack for the strong category. Next up, we got Reg. This guy is the guard at the door at the Salty Spittoon. I mean, if he's working at the Salty Spittoon, I could assume he's pretty tough, but I don't think he's defeating a sea bear tough. I think Larry and Dennis and a lot of these other characters, Sandy, would definitely kick his butt. So I'm putting him in the strong category. We don't get too many feats of him actually fighting. Yeah, I'm putting him like the middle of the strong category. Next up, we got Grandma SquarePants. She does have that SquarePants family ability to regenerate like a sponge. So I'm putting her right there, lower the pack. I might actually, do you think I should move Sandy up? Sandy is actually insanely, ridiculously strong. I think she could probably beat that jellyfish and maybe even above. Yeah, I'm putting Sandy above Mom and Dad SquarePants because don't forget they are older, they're slower, they're not trained in karate like her and SpongeBob are. So yeah, I think Sandy makes more sense in the top 5 right now. Next up, we got Plankton. Now, don't forget, this is a one-on-one fight, meaning Plankton can't summon Karen, he can't summon a robot army, he can't jump in a giant mech suit. It is just Plankton, and by himself, he's a Plankton. He is pretty much straight up the weakest character in the show by a country mile, as Sandy would say. So, yeah, Plankton is leading the pack at the bottom. He's the most pathetic just because literally any other character here could beat him without even trying. You just step on him, he's done. We go from one of the weakest characters to one of the most broken, the Flying Dutchman. How can you defeat in a battle to the finish a character who's a ghost, a character who's not technically alive? You can't. That's why he is dethroning SpongeBob as a second place, and he is the second place most powerful character. As a ghost, I mean, what can you even do? King Neptune is magic. His trident, he could probably find some way to banish Flying Dutchman in a chest, trap him somehow, banish him to another dimension. He could probably beat him that way. But apart from a magic user, and Neptune's the only one to my knowledge on this list, there's not much you could do against the Flying Dutchman. He's absolutely broken. He can't really be defeated by conventional means physically. So, yeah, second most powerful on the list so far. Next up, you have Mindy from the SpongeBob movie. Now, the thing about her, we don't see her use magic herself like her father. They do say she'll rule the sea one day, so she's kind of in line for the throne. That being said, she's kind of more of a pacifist, not really a fighter. I would say I'd put her probably above Mr. Krabs, below the Giant Clam. What do you guys think about that? I'd say she could definitely easily beat all the characters. Average and below are kind of just a joke. So yeah, I'd say Mindy, she would kind of be right around Mr. Krabs type tier. Oh boy, next up we have the Alaskan bullworm. This guy is no joke. This guy is kicking Sandy right there. Sandy was able to tangle with his tongue. She had no method to defeat him. Her method, what's your plan? Just run. And he's like, I could have thought of that. Yeah, Sandy, there was nothing she could do. This guy is huge. He is unstoppable force of nature. The Alaskan bullworm he's massive. He has a huge teeth. He's crazy quick for his size and his mass. I do think that Man Ray and Peak, Mermaid and Barnacle Boy could probably defeat him through strength. He couldn't really beat the Flying Dutchman. He couldn't beat King Neptune and SpongeBob. He would have to destroy completely. If there was any bit left of him, he could regenerate like Deadpool. So yeah, the Alaskan bullworm is an absolute tank. He's a menace and he's no joke. And next up, we have again kind of a funny one. We have Kevin the Sea Cucumber. Kevin is pathetic. Kevin might be like the king of the losers. You see his little crown. I didn't know your hat came off. It wasn't a hat. So yeah, Kevin's pathetic. He gets absolutely smoked by the jellyfish. He's kind of a nerd, kind of scrawny. Maybe he could take these old guys, Plankton and Gary, but that's not saying much. I think Squidward could mollywop. I think Squidward could absolutely wreck Kevin the Sea Cucumber in a fight. That would be a pretty good fight if they ever met. But yeah, he's Kevin the Sea Cucumber. Not too much to look at. Next up, we got Bubble Bass, another absolute loser. This guy is just a clown. I would say he's probably above Kevin, but that's not saying much. He could throw his weight around, but even a character like Squidward, if he were to sit on Squidward, he'd probably win, but Squidward could just outrun Bubble Bass. Bubble Bass has no cardio. He's like he's a big dude. So yeah, Bubble Bass, not very much. He would get all these guys in the bottom row would get taken out real quick. Next up, we have Doodle Bob. Now, Doodle Bob is an absolute menace. The guy's a force of nature. He thrashes Squidward, Patrick, SpongeBob, just absolutely wrecks them all physically. Not to mention he's unhinged. He's absolutely insane. Holds nothing back in a fight. That being said, he does have one clear and exploitable weakness. If you get your hands on the magic eraser, the magic pencil with the eraser, you can erase him from existence. So that is kind of a big weakness, but I do think he could beat a lot of other characters. So we have Doodle Bob up there leading the pack in the crazy strong category. Next up, we have Bubble Buddy. Now, Bubble Buddy is very cool. I gotta say, though, kind of in the same vein as the Dirty Bubble, he has that same very exploitable weakness that you can simply just pop him. He doesn't even really trap people within the bubble like the Dirty Bubble does. So I would say he is probably one of the weakest in the whole show. I think even Plankton, if he gets lucky, could manage to get the better of Bubble Buddy and pop him. Dirty Bubble, he at least can fly. He could trap you in the bubble. He's kind of tricky. That's why I say he would be a little better than Bubble Buddy in terms of the bubble-based characters. Next up, we got Flats a Flounder. Flats is like your basic high school bully. I think he could beat Squidward. He could probably beat the Dirty Bubble, but I'd say he's in the average tier. I'd say Mr. Krabs could take Flats. A Sea Bear could definitely take Flats. All the other characters could kick his butt. Heck, Mrs. Puff even said she was going to kick his butt. So Flats is leading the pack of the average category. Obviously, he's way before SpongeBob, who beats him in a fight without even throwing a punch. That's impressive. Next up, we got the Seahorse. Seahorse mystery, to be more specific. The Seahorse. I'd say she's up there, probably around between Squidward and a typical jellyfish. She's average. She can be kind of quick if she's running around, but not really too much of a fighter. Actually, can't forget, she did kick that one guy so far. When he landed, he exploded. So I'd say she could probably beat Squidward. She could maybe even beat Flats if she really wanted to. I'd say Mystery of the Seahorse leads the pack in the average category. Next up, we got Squilliam Fancy Son. Now, what do I say about Squilliam? He's essentially Squidward with the fancy unibrow. I would say he's probably right up there next to Squidward in terms of strength. That one's pretty self-explanatory, not too much to look at there. Finally, we have Junior. Junior is literally just a baby scallop. Not really too much to see from that. So that's it, guys. That is the complete SpongeBob tier list. Had a lot of fun making this just to take you through where we ended up on this list. It was quite the journey, but we finally got there. The S tier, God of the Ocean, Poseidon, followed by the Flying Dutchman, SpongeBob, followed by Man Ray, Merman, Barnacle Boy in their prime, the Alaskan Bullworm, Sandy Cheek, SpongeBob's parents, King Jellyfish, SpongeBob's grandma. Next, in the crazy strong category, we have Doodle Bob, followed by Dennis, followed by Patrick, Pearl, Mrs. Puff, Karen, and Larry the Lobster. The strong category, we have the Sea Bear, followed by Reg, followed by the Giant Clam, followed by Mindy, followed by Mr. Krabs and his mother, Mama Krabs. Next up in average tier, we have Mystery of the Seahorse, followed by Flats a Flounder, followed by Bubble Buddy, Squidward, Squilliam, and a basic jellyfish. Finally, in the D tier, pathetic, we have Bubble Buddy, we have Kevin the Sea Cucumber, Gary the Snail, Mermaid Man, Barnacle Boy, Baby Junior the Scallop, Plankton, and Bubble Buddy. That's it for this one, guys. What do you guys think? Do you disagree? I mean, I think I gave a pretty good argument for the top contenders. You know, Neptune, Flying Dutchman, SpongeBob, Man Ray, and Merman, and Barnacle Boy. Those would be the top 5, with the Alaskan Bullworm and Sandy putting up a good fight, rounding out the pack too. That's how I think it would go down. If all these characters were to fight, it would be quite the battle to see. But if you guys like these kind of videos, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Check out my other stuff, and I'll see you guys next time.